Hey everybody, so welcome back. Today we're actually going to be talking about something that could be considered pretty complex, but I'm going to make it really simple for you. We're going to talk about put credit spreads. Now, I know that sounds complex, but this is actually, when it comes down to it, a great, safe way to make some really good income every single week while playing it extremely safe buying options. If you don't understand the concept of selling and buying options, I highly recommend you check out the 4-part video series that I put together about all the terminology and the concepts around selling and buying options. I will put a link to the video up top here that you can watch that series, make sure you're familiar with it, and then come back here and check out this video. The great part about this is you really only need $100 in your Robinhood account. That's it, $100. Now, what you can do with that $100, I'm going to show you, but you could potentially make 10% or more every single week as passive income on that $100. So you could make $10 every single week, and after a couple weeks, you've almost doubled your money. So let's get into this and let's start talking about put credit spreads. So we're going to talk about put credit spreads, and there's a couple things that I want you to keep in consideration as you decide what put credit spreads, what stock you're going to choose to sell put credit spreads on. And there's a few things that I really want you to keep in mind here. The first one is I want you to find a stable stock. Now, a stock that's stable, right, is one that's pretty consistently within a given 5-10% range, maybe. Also one that stays either pretty flat or trends up, or just continues to trend up. Very slow moving, doesn't have a whole lot of, volatility to it, right? And a couple examples that I like are ETFs, because ETFs are pretty stable. They generally continue to move in an upward direction. So the ones that I like are SPY, IWM, and QQQ. So those three are the ones that I do put credit spreads on. Now you feel free to put in the comments if you have other ones that you're selling put credit spreads on and are more stable or doing well for you. Feel free to let me know. The second part is you want to find ones that have high volume. High volume is incredibly critical, just in case the stock starts to crash or go down, and I'll explain why that's important. If it starts to go down, it has a high volume to it so that you can easily get out of this trade or this option if you wanted to. Right, we'll talk about chance of profit and things like that, but again, you want to find one that has high volume. The third piece is you want to be pretty bullish on this stock or this ETF, right? You want to make sure that this is a stock that's going to continue to grow in the long term. It's not going to have a whole lot of spikes. It's not going to drop dramatically. It's not a meme stock where it's the the talk of the town. Right now it's the hot topic, like an EV stock, right? You want to find something that's continuously growing and you're very bullish on long term. Lastly, you want to find one that's no more than a 5-point bid-ask spread. Now, if you're not familiar with the bid-ask spread, check out my videos in the stock playlist. I have a whole section of videos that talk about options, that talk about spreads and all that kind of stuff. So if you're not familiar with that, please check that out. Okay, so here we are. We're looking at SPY. All right, so this is one of the ones that I talked about that I trade put credit spreads on. It's very stable. It's got a lot of volume to it, right? It's an ETF. I'm very bullish on SPY because it's the top 500 on the S&P, and also it's got and we'll talk about this in just a little bit, but it's got interweekly options that you can trade, and I'll show you what I mean by that. But if we take a look at just, the week, the month, the 3-month, you can see it is generally trending up. You had a little bit of a dip here. What did we go? 352 to 326. All right, so a little bit of a dip there. Here's where COVID started to hit, so everything's going to have a big dip there. But generally, you can see it is in an upward trend, which is why I like SPY for that reason. It is a stable stock. It's an ETF, and it's also got a lot of high volume. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go to Trade SPY Options, and we're going to see the options chains here. Right, and you can see right from this drop down where you choose your expiration date, it's got multiple expirations throughout the week. Right, so this is incredible. So this is Friday, but then you can see next week you've got Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, right, and then you have the following Monday. So it's got interweekly expirations. So you can actually make money multiple days during the week doing this strategy. All right. So we're going to go click on sell. We're going to click on put because we're not going to deal with the calls today. And then here you can see the share price, right? So this is the at the money. This is the at the money line. Everything below this is in the money. And again, if you don't know what in the money or out of the money or at the money is, check out my videos that talk about options. I explain what those three things are. So we're going to stay in the money here. And you can see this column, chance of profit. This is a good indicator. So we're gonna, when I do this, you can see I have a couple here as well. I generally choose things that have a chance of profit of 80% or more. Okay, so 80% or more is really where you want to stay. It's a very safe bet, right? So I don't see SPY dropping right now. It's at 371.93. I don't see it dropping below 365. Yet alone all the way down here to 363, 362. Right. So what we're going to do is we are going to sell this 363 call, or I'm sorry, this 363 put, and it's suggesting the midpoint is 70, so we're going to add that as a sell. Then we're going to go and click on buy, and we're going to buy the one right below it. So you can see the difference here between 70 and 59, that's 11. What we're going to do is we're going to click continue. We can see we have our put that we're selling, our put that we're buying, the differences between the two numbers, right? And again, the difference between the strike prices is $1. But again, it's 100 shares, so your collateral is going to be $100. You're going to see that in just a second. So we're going to say, we're going to do 1 for right now as an example. And you can see the low is 9, the high is 13, the mid, the mark is around 11, so we're going to keep that as 11. Again, choose your expiration. I usually just leave it for the day. I don't usually make this to try to get this as cheap as possible, right? Because you're already going to be extremely safe looking at those percentages. So we're going to review the order. Okay, so we can see that after we click to review the order, we can see our minimum credit, right? The money that we're going to make instantaneously. Again, credits are applied directly to your account the second that the order is executed. So this is money in your pocket the instant that this order gets filled. You can see your collateral, right? $100. We mentioned that before. The difference between the two strike prices that you're buying and that you're selling is $1. It's whatever. If you wanted to do 361 and 363, that's fine, right? You make a little bit more, right? Between 70 and 49 is $21, right? So you could certainly make a little bit more on this trade, but then for the difference between your sell and your buy, whatever that difference is, multiply it by 100. So the difference between 363 and 361 would be $2. Multiply that by 100. Your collateral would then be $200. You can see it summarizes the order down here, right? You're going to sell a 363 put. You're going to buy a 362 put. So just to confirm. Now, up here, it does say put credit spread, right? Make sure it says put credit spread. If it says anything other than that, like if it says put debit spread, you've done something wrong. And you will not be making money. Make sure it says put credit spread. Anything else, you've messed up somewhere, and just hit cancel and start over. So again, for your $100 that you have in your account, you're going to make $11. And easy math, that's 11%. So, today is the 17th. So tomorrow I will make 11% on my $100 collateral, right? That is so much better than any savings account you're ever going to get. It's so much safer. It's better than buying calls and hoping that the stock goes up, right? All you're doing here is you're getting an 80% or more chance of profitability, which is a great percentage, right? Especially on a stable stock like stable ETF like SPY. So you're going to make 11%. Now, if I wanted to, right? Let's just say I had more than $100 in my account. Let's say I have actually I have $600. But we'll say I have $500. I can actually do 5 contracts that are of this trade that are going to expire in a day. And now, because I hit 5, I can see I've got 5 contracts. They're still at 11, right, the midpoint. But now, instead of making $11 for selling 1 contract, I'm making $55. But my collateral now, because I'm buying 5 of them, is $500. So it's the same percentage. It's still 11% that you're making, but you're increasing the amount of credit that you're going to be getting. So instead of making $11 in one day, or in 1 week or a couple days, you're now making 11%, but you're making $55. So it all depends on what your comfort level is. Now, honestly, I do not recommend putting all of your money into the same options contract, into the same put credit spread contract, right? Because if something were to happen, the market crashes, right? I'm sure people before COVID didn't realize that there was going to have this massive crash, right? Don't put all of your money into one thing. Build over time. Build it slowly. Start small and build gradually. Also, if you wanted to do 5 credit spreads, I would recommend doing it in maybe 2 or 3 different ETFs or different stocks, just to spread the wealth around and diversify. Okay, so we're actually going to change this back to 1. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are asking, well, this seems like too good to be true. What's my risk to this, right? So there is a small risk to this, and again, that's why I have you choose, based on the chance of profit. Make sure this is at least 80% or more, right? So if for some reason SPY's price, you don't want it to drop past the sell price, okay, your strike price that you're selling. If for some reason this starts to drop, gets to like 66, 65, 64, right? It's getting closer and closer before your expiration date. You can always get out of this by buying this back and selling this one back, right? So you can do the opposite of what you did to actually, sell the put credit spread. You can actually buy this chain back. You'll have to take it out of the money, the credit that you got, right? So if you did 1, you got $11. It's getting closer. Maybe you have to buy this back. It'll cost you $2, right? So you've made $9 credit instead of the 11. But it's the safer bet. So I'm sure you're sitting there saying, well, what's the max that I could lose, right? Let's say you do this today, and then tomorrow the stock itself drops to like $359, right? And it's like, wow, what the heck just happened, right? So to keep this as simple as possible, if it drops that far, most likely the person that you're selling this put to is going to exercise it and buy it from you, which means you have to sell it to them, right? So you will sell them this $363 strike with the $362 put option that you bought, right? And you will give up that $100 collateral, but you'll still keep the $11 credit. So if you do the math here, your max risk or max loss for this trade would be $89, right? You'd have to give up your $100 in collateral, but you'd still keep the $11 credit. So $100 minus the $11 is $89. So your max risk here is $89. So keep that in mind. That's why we want to make sure that we choose things that are 80% or more, right? Keeping it extremely, extremely safe. You could do ones that are up here. If you really don't think SPY is going to drop past 368, right? It hasn't in a while. Maybe you could do between 152 and 187. Get yourself an extra $35 per contract. But if that's not you, that's not the idea behind selling put credit spreads. The idea here is to keep it as safe and as risk-free as possible. That's why I'll always suggest do it more than 80%. Right? You can go further down here and you can see you could do 359 and 360. You'll get $6 instead of the 11, right? You're getting half the profits, but you're making 6% on it instead of 11%. But again, you're having much less risk because now you're in the 90% chance of profit. All right, so just keep that in mind. It's a really safe way to make money. It's a really safe passive way to make money. I highly recommend it. It's a great way if you don't have a whole lot of money, in your Robinhood account. You're looking to start building quickly. This is a great way to do it. Selling put credit spreads, very low risk, very minimal effort as far as keeping an eye on it all the time, right? If you're keeping that chance of profit in the 80s, 90s percentile, then you don't really have to keep an eye on it. Once the contract or once that option, that put credit spread expires, they both expire on that date, and again, they expire at 4 p.m. Eastern time on that date. So don't think that you wake up that day of expiration and it expired. No, it's the 4 o'clock Eastern time when that expires. Once they expire, they both expire worthless, and you keep the $11 credit, or whatever the credit was that you got for that option. And you get your collateral back in your account. So now if you had $100, you bought this, when you buy it, you're going to see now your account has $11 in it because they hold that $100 in collateral just in case it does, drop and somebody decides to exercise this option. But once it expires, now you're going to see the $100 put back in your account. Now you have $111. And now you can go do another put credit spread and get another $10, another $15, right? So you could do potentially as much, percentage increase or credit that you wanted to, depending on how safe you wanted to do this or how frequently you wanted to do this. If you had $500, you could do it 5 times a week and get 5 times the amount of money. So this is a great way to get some passive income. I want to thank everybody for their time today. Again, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Add any comments in the comments section if you have stocks or ETFs that you're selling put credit spreads against and they're not the ones that I had mentioned. Please feel free to let me know. Let me know how you're doing. If this has been helpful, put some positive comments in there as well. I also am asking if people can help support the channel, support the Discord group. I have a link to the Discord group in the description. You can also use my Robinhood referral link. That gets you a free share of stock. It gets me a free share of stock and helps support the channel. And as always, I'm leaving my Venmo information in the description as well. And again, as always, thank you for watching and happy trading.